Thanks for joining me for another review with Ramsey. Today we'll be reviewing Dungeon Petz. Dungeon Petz is a board game in which players take on the roles of imps starting up their own pet shop. In the game, which lasts over 5 or 6 rounds, players will raise their pets and fulfill their different needs, put them on exhibits, and even try and sell them to different buyers, trying to earn their pet shop the most renown or victory points to win the game. One of the first things that the game has is the progress board. And what the progress board is it tracks how the game is going to be run, what food you need to put into the marketplace, what exhibits are going to come up, and what customers you're going to be able to sell to. Here we have the player aid. Each player starts with 6 imps and 2 gold. What's really brilliant is the use of the symbols that they have up here to show you how the round is going to progress, the anatomy of the different types of need cards there are, and what can happen if you don't fulfill a certain need. One of the most interesting mechanics that I like in this game is how the turn order works. What basically happens is everyone's going to secretly bid by covering up their player aid and select a number of imps and gold to different spots on the board. So if they want to really go first, they may put a large group in and then maybe a smaller group later. Basically, once everyone's decided how they want to disperse their group and how many different actions they want to be able to take, then you reveal and the largest group goes first. So you see who has the largest group, that player takes a turn, the player with the next largest group of that number goes, and so on and so forth. What's interesting, if you have 2 lower bids, you may get 2 actions right one after the other, or you may have to wait because someone took 2 turns because they played 2-3 groups before your 2 group. We also have our pin where players can keep pets and build more cages. You start with a cage with a nice little surprise in it. You can do different things with this. You can add new cages. You can even add attachments to current cages. Here we have the basic setup for a 4-player game. Once the players have dispersed their imps and how they want to act with them, the players then take actions in turn order, and there are numerous actions that you can take. You can get an add-on for your cage, you can send an imp with some gold to buy a pet, you can send 2 imps together to buy a cage, you can send another imp with some gold to buy an older pet, you can pick up some artifacts that will give you useful abilities throughout the game. You can pick up food at the market to feed your pet depending on what kind of food it likes. You can visit here to either get a potion card, which acts as a wild card, or heal any of your injured imps. You can also pick up additional imps that are on the progression board, and then you can also put your pet on the stand to sell your pet for a larger price later. You can also volunteer for judging, which will give you more points when it comes to the prestige scoring. Once all players have taken their actions, then it's time to take care of your pets. The number of bars showing on the pet's wheel will show you what types of cards you need to draw to care for that pet. So in this case, to care for this penguin creature, I would draw a green and a purple card. And then I need to play a green and a purple card on him as well. And the different color cards have different types of symbols on them. So in this case, I would have a food and a psychic energy. And I would feed him with one of the vegetables that I got earlier in the market, and he has a magic resistance of 1 in his cage, so I'm okay there. There are different types of needs, and you have to keep track of making sure that you can fulfill all of those needs for your pet. If you play with a pet, were you able to leave an imp behind to play with it? If your pet is angry, were you able to have a strong enough cage to hold him back, or did you lose imps because they had to go chasing after it? Or you didn't have any food cards, so your pet simply pooped. This is one of the most trickiest parts of the game because you have to balance how you're taking care of your pet. If it gets too much poop or disease, it'll get sick, and sickness and suffering tokens will mitigate how much you're able to sell your pet for and how much points you're able to score with them. After all players are done taking care of their pets, then you score for prestige. In this case, we would be scoring 2 prestige points for a single pet for each food icon played on that pet. You then move up the prestige marker and take any negative effects from any things that they don't like. So in this case, you would get a -1 for each disease. You then score it on the prestige track and score the victory points accordingly. At the beginning of turn 3, players can start selling their pets to potential buyers. And selling your pets works in a similar fashion as the exhibits do. You have the positive icons up front that will give you a point for each card of that type that you played, and you get minus points for the negative effects that are on that card. In addition to scoring victory points from the buyer, you also get a number of coins equal to how old your pet was. Play continues in this fashion until the 5th round, where players have 2 potential buyers that they can sell to. After that turn is over, you have 2 final prestige scorings and the game's over. Whoever has the most renown wins. Now, I'm not gonna lie, Dungeon Petz isn't my new favorite game, but I do like what it has to offer. It's much easier to grasp than, say, Dungeon Lords, and the theme is very brilliant in this game. I mean, you really feel like you're taking care of your pet and applying its needs appropriately, and all the bits are simply fantastic. If you're someone who doesn't like a lot of variables in your game, it can be a little bit fiddly for what it is, but if you're a player that really likes to create something and watch it grow throughout the course of the game, and you really enjoy that last payoff, then Dungeon Petz is for you.